Hello, wine friends. Welcome to Honest Wine Talk. I'm your host, Heron, and I'll guide you through the world's wine stories. Join us as we explore expert insights and tales straight from the vineyard. Here's to sharing the spirit of wine, one story at a time. Welcome today. I'd like to welcome Reeze Choi joining from Hong Kong. Reeze Choi has won the third place in ASI Best Sommelier Awards this year, and he's been working in the wine industry in the last 15 years. Welcome, Reeze. How are you?
Hi. It's very nice to talk to you. And yeah, I'm good. And you?
Yeah, I'm very good too. So you're joining from Hong Kong today?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I'm
Yeah, here.
joining.
It's just 1 hour slower than your time.
Right, so I'm joining from Seoul. Okay, so Reeze Choi is a founder of Somm's philosophy. Could you tell us a bit more about your company and yourself?
Yeah, sure. Yes, yeah, my name is Reese, and I'm a sommelier. I was a sommelier, and then now I'm more like a wine consultant. I started up a business called Somm's Philosophy in Hong Kong. So in 2019, the best timing for establishing a wine business, indeed.
Mm.
And we provide consultant service. We work with restaurants, bars, and I also done a lot of like education things, speaker service and also an ambassador service too.
I see, I see. So when did you found the company?
2019, in the very last day of the year. So to be exact,
Mm.
is December 31st.
Oh, wow. So you founded your company and then you went right into COVID.
Yes, that's why I said this is the best time.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
So for you're very famous in the sommelier world, but there might be someone who doesn't know about you. So how did you get into the world of wine and become a sommelier?
Yeah. I don't have a very romantic story to share, but I would say it's all about money, paycheck.
Right,
Because I don't
okay.
have a very high level of educational in Hong Kong, but I started to work when I was 16, and then I try a lot of different work before I get into this industry. I work in a wet market. I work in uh s- a convenience store and so many the other things. I was a cook too. I got a chance to work in a very fine dining restaurants, and I start to learn about hospitality, how to serve my guests in a very fine dining restaurants. And then after that, my manager told me, why not you learn about wine? It will help you to
Mm,
get a little bit more salary, to become a sommelier. So that's why
mm.
I started to learn about wine, and after that, when you started, you will definitely think that this is very interesting things to learn. And then
Mm,
I got hooked, and then yeah, I just love it. I fall in love
mm.
with wine in at that time. Mm.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So, um, how old were you when you started working in that fine dining restaurant? And what's the name of the restaurant in Hong Kong?
Okay, I was 21st, definitely. And yes, the restaurant's called Gusto, but it's closed for good for a long time
Mm,
ago. Yeah.
I
I,
see, I
I I
see.
hope this is not because of me.
All right. So then as a familiar, I'm sure you've had ups and downs. So what are some of the biggest challenges that you faced as a sommelier working in the wine industry?
Uh, I mean, to me, to adapt with different languages is the most challenging part to me because I'm a
Mm,
Hong Kong person.
mm-hmm,
But in
mm,
the wide world, we have to understand the French, Italian,
mm,
Spanish, etc. So when I start to learn about wine, I think the language is very complex, it's pretty complicated to me. But
mm,
and secondly, I think the nowadays when we talk about the pricing of the wine list, we are yeah it's pretty tricky nowadays because the price are very transparent nowadays. You can easily find the price on the internet, so
right.
we have to be careful on the pricing. Otherwise, we'll
Mm,
get complaint all the time from the customers.
right.
And then
Very
yeah,
true.
so those things is very tricky right now. Yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
so the changes in the wine industry with technology, that people are being able to look up the prices online, that's posing a threat to
Yes.
to the industry. Yeah, I agree.
Mm.
But then how did you overcome the language aspect? How did you work it out?
I mean, Google is a good is a good stuff. As you
Yes.
know, when you don't know how to pronounce the words, you just Google it, and then you listen to the pronunciation over and over again. And
Mm,
yeah, I start to because as I said, I don't have a very high level of education.
mm-hmm,
So at the beginning of my journey, I don't really speak English.
mm,
Um, yeah, but I was lucky to work with an Italian chef,
mm-hmm.
and then our English is not good too. you know, I can briefly talk to him in English, and then just practice, make perfect all the time. And then sometimes you read the label and you just
Mm,
jot a lot of notes about the meanings of those things. So yeah, I would simply say that just practice.
mm. Practice over and over
Yeah.
until you make it perfect.
Yeah, I think yeah, just like now speaking English, I don't think that I speak it perfectly, so I need to work harder.
Well, I guess anything you do, you can always improve, but yeah. All right. So then what are some of the most rewarding aspects of your career?
Uh, the first sip of the bottle, I would say. Every time we serve a customer, we always try the wine, right? So we taste the wine, and actually, I think this is the biggest reward as a sommelier. But uh, also in the wine world, we wine help people get closer. And
Mm,
then because of wine, because of the career, I had the chance to know lots of people. We become good friends from a customer and a server. And also, I had a lot of chance to taste different wine as well. And then got a lot of chances to visit different wine regions too. So yeah, instead of just like a career or just like a job, it's more like a journey to me.
so are you still very excited when you see a bottle of wine and you're about to open? Uh, do you still feel that excitement?
Yeah, to be honest, I used to be like all the time when I see the bottle, but now because I drink so much, a lot of wine, so it's become fewer and fewer nowadays. But I still do sometimes when I see a bottle I never see before. Remember the wine we have tasted in New York?
Hmm.
Actually, me and we had a wine tour in Finger Lakes and Long Island, New York, and then this is quite a field of wineries together. And then I still remember the wine in Kilka Lake
Yes.
Vineyards. Remember that? Yeah, the Finolo, the hybrid grape that we tasted in 2009. That was so beautiful. And
Yes.
every single moment like that make me so excited.
Yes, that wine was beautiful. Got lucky
Yeah.
that we got hold of those bottles. Very lucky.
Yeah. And then like something you have never seen it before. And then end up the result was so amazing and so surprised. And actually this is a truly beautiful moment of drinking a bottle of wine. Mm.
Mm, I see, I see. Yeah, I feel your love for the wine.
Yeah,
Then
I actually bought a bottle.
what was the wine that made you fall in love with wine? So what was that bottle? Do you have a specific moment where you felt, oh, this is something that I can really get into? Was there any specific wine that you thought that made that magic for you?
Yeah, I would say that there were two bottles of wine specifically. The first wine I've ever tasted actually is the Moscato d'Asti.
Mm.
Some people, when we talk about this, a little bit embarrassing because everybody say which bottle of wine gets you into wine, and then they have amazing names to say like the Domaine de la Humanité Conti, Lafite. But to me, it was just a bottle of Moscato d'Asti. And then that was this situation. My manager gave me a glass of wine and asked me to try to describe the wine. And she poured me a glass of Moscato and then asked me, "Oh, what do you feel? And then what can you taste? What kind of flavor you can get from the glass?" And I tried to describe the wine. I smell maybe there's some passion fruit, some peaches. I was not very convinced, but my tasting was spot on. And then I found that, no, I can do it. And yeah, at that moment, I started to think about wine tasting actually is very fun. And after that, the second bottle, which is a Chateau Angelou. And actually, at that year, my bar manager gave me the bottle from En Primeur. When I first tasted the wine, it was very tannic, just not very enjoyable. And then I put a cork back, and then I put it in the wine fridge for, after 4 days. And I got a bottle and I tried the wine again, and it becomes so amazing. The tanning structure was so softened, and then the fruitiness was so different from the 4 days from 4 days ago, and then it's opened beautifully. And then at that time, I found out that the wine actually it is a living liquid, I would say, and it has life in it. It changed all the time, and then and actually I found out that the wine actually is something can be so meaningful to me. So yeah, I would say these two bottles of wine.
Oh, very interesting. So you're saying that you were describing the aroma profile of Moscato d'Asti. Did it come
Mm.
easy to you as soon as you smelled? You were able to actually describe the aromas?
I mean, Moscato d'Asti is quite aromatic and very generous in the nose. So I think it's pretty easy to me at that time as a grape like that. But I would say yes, because every time after that, I keep practice, and then every time my tasting notes was quite satisfying. And then I think yeah, it's pretty like to smell a character from a wine. I think is pretty easy to me.
Do you think you have gifted nose, or is it more practice afterwards?
Uh no, I don't think so. No. But I actually every time when I was in a examination or a competition, I think the tasting session is something that I should work harder and harder,
Mm.
because yeah, because I said that I was a cook in a restaurant. I think at that time I developed my palate. But tasting is now, especially nowadays, when we talk about new world, old world, when we talk about the winemaking technique, etc., it just become very complicated, so sophisticated. So yeah, I don't really think that I have a gift in it, but again, practice make perfect.
True, true. Yes. I think a lot of people think that sommeliers are born with those abilities, but people do try really, really hard. It's just a lot of practice that goes into it.
Yeah.
And we have to also talk about your competition this year, 2023, March,
Mm.
the ASI Best Sommelier Awards. How do you get into it, and what was your process of preparing for that competition?
Oh my God.
It's a tough question.
Every time when we talk about it, it's brought me, to 1 year ago when I do the preparation of all this. And actually I suffer a lot from that, because, you know, in Hong Kong, we have to go through Hong Kong competition. And then after that, we need to compete in a Greater China Sommelier competition. And then you need to win all the time. And then after that, you will have a selection for the Asia and Oceania competition. And you need to have a better result compared to the other candidates in Hong Kong, and to get you a ticket to the world competition. So it's really fighting from the beginning, and it is talking about years of competition to get you the tickets to the world. And so every time it was quite tough, but I realized that I had a chance to compete in Asia and Oceania and also the world competition. I started to quit my job, but even now I'm a founder now. So I tried to reduce the workloads, and then I started to turn down some offer just to make sure I have enough time to prepare for the competition. Actually, I started my very tough schedule about half year in advance of the Asia and Oceania. Make a very clear timetable for every day. So, for example, like wake up at 7 o'clock, and then I have 15 minutes to brush my teeth, wash my face, and then 7:15 to 8:15 I need to study, and then 8:15 to 10:15 I need to do the work of my company, and after that we have lunch, and then it's very straightforward schedule to follow every day. I spend about 8 to 10 hours to study per day for the theory, and then luckily I have some support in Hong Kong to practice the practical training with some master sommelier and some of my friends to have training at their restaurants. So I prepare for the world competition for a year like this, you know, because we're talking about like quitting from a job and also turning down so many offers. So the financially, it's quite tough to me too. But when you want to have a good result, you have to sacrifice something. So yeah, that's how I prepare for my world competition.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds really intense from 7 o'clock to the night, working and studying. Why did you want to get into competition? What was your motivation that you wanted to compete in the world level?
I mean, there's few reasons behind. First of all, when I started to work when I was 16, my life was like I have no direction at all until and then I actually found some meaning in my life. So I want to become successful in something. So I managed to start my first competition in Hong Kong. That was I got good feedback. So I said I can do it. So I started to compete in the field. And actually, this kind of competition is European things, and it is not really for Asian because I'm the first person to get into the final in this competition in China or even in Hong Kong in Asia. Not really in Asia because in 1995 there was a champion from Japan, Shinya Tasaki-san, and then there was Hiroshi Shida-san was number three in 2000. And after that, we don't have any Asian in the final stage. So I think that somebody's gonna break the record. I tried so hard to do that. You know, it's better to prove the world that we can do something too. And then I always think that this is an honor to represent your city, your hometown to participate in the world competition.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's why I'm motivated.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, that's very interesting. So you must be a celebrity in Hong Kong in the restaurant world.
Not really. I don't know, but I'm so lucky to have the results this time. So yeah, more people know me. But most importantly, I think that they acknowledge about this competition. So I
Mm.
always, when I talk to the customer nowadays, I always please them to stay focused or stay tuned for the next one. Maybe I would do one more time, but if there's someone to represent Hong Kong and China again, I hope them to keep their finger crossed and then try to be with us for the competition next time.
I see. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of sommeliers in Asia are looking up to you because, as you said, it was a great achievement. Because we don't have a great wine drinking culture in Asia, not compared to Europe. So it's somewhat of a new industry. So it's a great achievement that it can be a motivator for a lot of wine professionals around us now. All right. So I have another question. So you're from Hong Kong, and
Yeah.
so how has the wine scene in Hong Kong evolved over the years? So you've been working in the fine dining industry for close to, can we say, 15 years? So what
Mm,
changes have you seen in the industry?
Uh, I worked for fine dining restaurants and also worked for casual dining as well. You know, sometimes you need to try different things to find out what you prefer. To me, I prefer to work in a casual dining, friendly restaurants dining, but it doesn't mean that it come with no service. We provide good service, but in a casual way. And talk about the wine scenes. I think after COVID, not just for Hong Kong, but it's happening to the whole world. I think the spending tendency, the drinking culture, everything's changed. Like for example, during the COVID, the people buy wines from online shops, supermarkets, wine retail for their own consumption. And nowadays, when all the restriction lift, we can see that the people they going back to the restaurants, sometimes to the retail shop, and they said that they're completely dead after the COVID because the people they go back to restaurants, sometimes they go to the other country to spend, not really staying in Hong Kong. And also, we can see some new generation drinkers. Actually, in Hong Kong, we have two very extreme group of people. The experienced drinkers, they are always rooted to most classic wines like champagne, Bordeaux, Burgundy. But we can see there's so many new generation drinkers. They are willing to try new things. They love to try the grower champagne, the new generation Australian wine, Italian grapes from there. And then sometimes they're willing to try the Eastern Europe things and also like Japanese wine, Chinese wine. So that nowadays we can see that's the more and more opportunity for the other white country and the other for their products in Hong Kong.
So the
But
younger
again,
in this, yeah.
yeah, yes, please go. Yeah.
So the younger drinkers are more open to drink the newer style of wines around the world.
Yes, yes, that's true. And then to say they would fancy some interesting bottles. I think when they have never seen that bottle before, they are willing to try. But the thing is, they have no royalty. They always try new stuff. Doesn't like that the drinkers we served before. They always when they come to the restaurants, we already know what they are going to drink. So we know how to recommend them a bottle of wine. So you need to listen to the customer nowadays. You need to ask them, what are you looking for today? You like wine, white wine, red wine, from where? Particularly, you need to communicate with them now. So before you just open a bottle and you go away, and now you need to stay focused on the story. You need to be a storyteller. You need to explore the wine world with them. So it's quite different word for so many.
So the communication has become a lot more important compared to before. How do you practice to communicate with a customer? Are you naturally a good communicator? Does it come naturally, or is it something that you think in your head, okay, this is something maybe I want to tell my customers today? How does the process go?
Okay, that's a very good question. I am actually not a very good communicator. And I think it is always good to listen to your customer first. You try to understand them first instead of you throw your idea to them, keep throwing your idea non-stoply. And I would say when you learn about bottle of wine, what do you think, which is the most interesting part of that one? You turn that question into your presentation. So you introduce the most important and most interesting part to your customer. And then after that, that's why I started to make wine in Japan too. I started a collaboration with the winery in Hiroshima to become a winemaker. This is my first vintage for 2023. And the reason behind that, I want to be a winemaker because you will never understand the winemaker aspects. I would say, as a sommelier, you are the bridge between the customer and also the winemaker. But you need to fully understand what they are thinking to when you talk about the wine story to your customer. So I wanted to be a winemaker because I want to know those winemakers aspects. So I actually think that this can help me to improve my communication skill when I am presenting a wine to the guests too.
So you have a better understanding about the wine, so you can be a better storyteller.
Yes. Also, you know the skill, you know the hard work behind. and then you understand more how to speak about a bottle of wine too.
Mm. So, do you have the name of the winery in Hiroshima?
Yeah, Vinoble, Vinoble, Vinoble. It's a small winery, family owned in Miyoshi, central part of middle of nowhere in Hiroshima, and good stuff. Very impressive because I had never think about a good wine from that regions before until I tried them, and then decided to have a collaboration work with them immediately. I'm making some Chardonnay, a barrel of
Mm.
Chardonnay and 3 barrels of Sauvignon Blanc and Semillon blend.
Mhm.
So it will be a very interesting project.
So you're only making white wines there now?
Yeah, because
Mm.
when you start something, you need to make sure the cash flow is enough for the next
Yes,
one. You
yes.
know, white wine you don't need so much time, so many times to age in a barrel. And I think my wines will be available next year, about
Mm.
June or July, because I would taste sample time to time to make sure the wines is ready from the bottle, from the barrel. So yeah,
That's very practical and honest.
yes.
And could you tell us then a little bit more about the region? Because I don't think we are very familiar with that specific region in Japan. Also, I think a lot of people maybe not familiar with wines made in Japan. So could you tell us a bit more about the region and what kind of style of wine that you're making?
Yeah, cool. In Japan, of course, the indigenous grape is the most famous grape variety in Japan, like Koshu, the white grape, and then the Muscovalier, the hybrid red from Japan. And the most important prefecture for winemaking are Hokkaido, Yamanashi, Nagano, sometimes Yamagata, and nobody talk about Hiroshima because some people think that it's too humid, and actually it is true. But Miyoshi is located in the middle of is further inland and is surrounded by mountain ranges. So the area is pretty like stay away with problems compared to the other regions. When we talk about problems, we're talking about the rainfall, the disease, the typhoon, sometimes earthquake, etc., etc. So that area is surrounded by a mountain range. It's quite foggy area, so it's cooler compared to the other places, and also slightly less rainfall compared to the southern part of Hiroshima. So it's pretty unique. We have a lot of clay soil over there instead of volcanic soil because Japanese wine and Japanese regions, they're famous for their volcanic soil because we have over 140 volcanoes in Japan. But there's we got a lot of clay. So it's really good for Chardonnay. And sometimes the winemaker is making some Pinot Noir too. But I make my Chardonnay and also the Bordeaux blend, white blend. So my Chardonnay will age in a second used oak, will be a barrel ferment. So I look for something like very fresh, but also we have a gentle touch of oak to enhance the complexity and also, but at the same time to maintain the freshness and the fruitiness. And my Sauvignon Blanc and Semillon blend, which is the 50-50. We used for the Sauvignon Blanc, we used different yeast. So I have done some blending between the different yeast of Sauvignon Blanc and also the Semillon. So we just had the sample, we just tasted the sample 2 weeks ago, and then now the wine is aging in the oak barrel. So again, will be a second use barrel too, because I don't like to use too much new oak because I always want my wine to become more balanced with the oakiness, and also I always want my wine to have more fruit driven characteristic. So yeah, maybe it will be a interesting blend because the winemaker he never have done this style before. So it will be very interesting to know about the result.
Very exciting. So when is it going to be released into the market? When is it going to be
Mm,
available?
hopefully the Q3, I would say about July to August will be available because I'm not sure because this is my very first time to make wine.
Hmm.
So I will need to taste the wine every month to see how it goes. and then until I think the wine is ready. But I guess that we will have the wine about June or July.
Oh, it's very exciting. Can't wait to try your wines. It's going to be very interesting. There are not too many sommeliers making their own wine,
Mm.
so it's going to be very exciting and interesting to try your wine, especially being made in Japan.
Yeah. Yes, I think yes. And also, this is not a project, the collaboration, just put my name on it and taste a sample and blend something. I actually go there for harvest and then I'm going back to Japan in January for pruning. So I heard that is going to be a -3 degrees Celsius.
Oh,
So we need to prune the vines and the cold weather. I try to get involved in everything.
wow.
So to understand the hard work behind, instead of just put my name on the wine label and say, "Oh, this is my wine," and I don't like that kind of like things.
Yeah, I guess people might think that this wine is very romantic and luxury because it comes in a very nice bottle and beautiful label, but not too many people connect that experience to the groundwork, that really hard work as a farmer. So yeah, it must be quite interesting for you to get involved in the harvest as well and to tell us their story after. So I just have a couple more questions for you. What do you think makes a great sommelier?
Wow. Yeah. Before we talk about the communication with guests, I think we are a server, we are a listener, and also we need to be humble because humble is the first rules as a good sommelier to a good sommelier because you need to stay humble all the time because you need to be a good listener, not only to the clients but also your colleague, your suppliers, and also your assistant. So you need to listen them every time instead of be the king on the floor. And also service is very important too. You need to love to be on the floor to serve your customer. Otherwise, you will not. You can't be a good sommelier because it's all about service at the end of the day, and not only about the wine service. Sometimes you need to show your support to your teammate. You serve the food. You try to recommend things the food to your customer. You try to help. Sometimes you need to polish the glasses. You can't say that I'm a sommelier. I don't do this kind of things. You can't say that, but I hear that all the time in Hong Kong anyway. But yes, I think that's be humble and also service is very important to us so many. Yeah.
I see. Is there any sommelier that you look up to? Was there anyone who played a role of a role model for you?
Yeah, lots. In Hong Kong, Henry Zhang, he is my mentor. He is actually one of the first persons to participate in the world competition, and actually he provided lots of training to me during my preparation for mine too. And yeah, he is quite senior now. I forgot what his actual age, but he's pretty senior, but he still work on the floor and do the service. And he's a very good person and very good sommelier to me. And also Tasaki-san from Japan, uh, Hiroshi Ishida-san from Japan too. They are, yeah, always my role model because they were the first Asian to be on the final stage. So without them, I think that's I can't do this first. I can't do this too because I will probably think that this is impossible to an Asian, but they are there, so they're actually my role model too. Yeah.
I see. Yeah, you always need a great teacher to achieve. Yeah, you always need a great teacher to achieve something you want in your life. I'm glad that you had your great mentors close to you. So the mentor you just mentioned, does he have his own restaurant?
No, he is working for Joel Robuchon, the three-star Michelin restaurants in Hong Kong. He is still working there. Pretty tough for him. Long working hour every day, but it's still there. Yes.
Mm.
I hope
I see.
maybe you can come to Hong Kong and then we can go to his restaurants too to
Yeah,
dine sometime.
that would be amazing. It'd be an honor to meet you and your mentor in
Cool.
Hong Kong. So just the last maybe the last question. What would you say to someone who's trying to become a sommelier or who's trying to make it in the wine industry? What advice would you give them?
Wow. I think you have to realize that sommelier is not a superstar first. Because some people think that we are, but I always say I'm not, and we are not. We are actually a server, and and actually this is a pretty tough job to do. You need to realize that before you trying to be one. And beside the hard work of everyday routine, and also you need to stay curious about learning about wine. You have to spend a lot of time to study, to taste with your college, and then actually this is a very long journey. So if you are not prepared for this, don't be one. You know, don't be so many. Yeah, you need to
Right.
be you need to to prepare for the hard work of everything. And please be humble.
That's great advice. Yeah, it is a long process. It's a long journey, and you have to have the love and the passion for it.
Mm.
And yeah, I mean, it's amazing to see how you are doing. Since uh, you've, I think you've become a celebrity in the wine world. As you showed us the great service in the competition earlier this year, and anyone who'd like to watch him serve. And compete, you can go onto YouTube and you can see his service. And you made some few jokes as well during the service, which was really funny and interesting.
Yeah, I got some
Yeah.
trouble.
Right, right. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining today. It was an honor to interview you. So I hope that more people will hear about you, learn about you, and try your wines in the future. So if any of the listeners want to reach you, how do we reach you? Instagram or
Instagram,
website?
yeah, I think it's good to in touch with you. My account is Reese underscore zombie Sommie. So yeah, every if you want to talk to me and then want to ask me any questions, please be in touch with me. And hope to be in Korea soon too,
Hope
and
so.
to meet some people.
Yes, yes, that'd be great. I mean, Reese is one of the most approachable person that you can talk to. So anyone, if you have any questions, you should talk to Reese on Instagram. Okay, thank
Yeah,
you so much. Thanks for listening, everyone. Thank you for joining for the first episode. Thank you so
thank you,
much. And I hope to have you again when your wine's released.
thank you. Yes,
All right.
I'll make sure you have some in your cellar.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye bye.